I welcome you to this representation. So in this video, we are going to look at the English Paper 1, 2022, specifically for grade 9. So if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe, share the video, and also comment if you find it useful to you. Okay, so we are going to answer section A, which is the composition part only. So on the part of the composition, this question, the composition question carries 20 marks. Then on this part here, you're required to spend about 40 minutes or less than 40 minutes. Okay, so the question is saying, describe any traditional ceremony you know. So here we are going to describe any traditional ceremony that you and I know. So in this case here, we can describe the Nchwala ceremony, or we can describe the Kuomboka ceremony, or Ukusefya Pangwena, if you like. Okay, so here are the points. Here are points to help you write the description. So now specifically this question here, the composition question is coming from a descriptive composition. Okay. So now before I write the composition, or before I give you the information, let me try to explain a little bit on how you are going to write your composition. So the first thing here, I'm going to talk about the layout of any composition, or this composition here. So the first thing here, I'm going to talk about the layout of any composition or this composition. So every composition should have a title. So every composition should have a title, where the title is going to come from the composition that you're writing, where the title is coming from the composition that you are writing. Apart from the title, so on the part of the title, if you write your title in capital letter Z, you're not supposed to underline it. So in the title, or on the title, if you write capital letters, you're not required to underline it. But if you use small letters, you are supposed to underline your title. Okay, so the next one is the introduction. So now on the part of the introduction, you are going to put the things that you are going to talk about in your main body. So on the part of the introduction, you are going to introduce the things that you are going to talk about in your main body. So apart from the introduction, we also have the main body. Now on the main body here, you are going to explain what you were introducing in the introduction. In the main body, you explain that you were introducing in the introduction. Then the last thing here, it is the conclusion. So now on part of the conclusion, you give the emphasis. You give the emphasis. So on the part of the conclusion, you need to give the emphasis. Okay, so I'm going to start with the title. So the traditional ceremony that I'm going to choose here, it is a Kuomboka traditional ceremony. So the first one here is saying the name of the traditional ceremony is going to be Kuomboka traditional ceremony. So in this case here, I'm not yet answering the question. I'm not writing the composition part here. I'm just answering the questions using these points that I have. So the name of the traditional ceremony, I'm going to say the Kuomboka traditional ceremony. Then the next point is saying where and when it is held. So where it is from the Western Province, and it is held at the Zambezi River from March to April. From March to April. Then the third point is saying the tribe that practices in the ceremony. So the tribe that practices in the ceremony, I'm going to say the Lozi people. So for these few information, let me try to help you to start the composition. So the first thing here, I'm going to start with the title. Like I was saying, when you write your title in capital letter Z, you're not supposed to underline it. But when you write your title using small letters, you are supposed to underline it. So my title is going to be the Kuomboka traditional ceremony. The Kuomboka traditional ceremony. Now, like the way I've used capital letter Z, which means I'm not going to underline this title. Okay. So, like the way I've started with the capital letter Z, I'm not going to underline this title here. Okay. So now, we have written the title in capital letters, so we are not supposed to underline it. So apart from the title, I was saying what follows next is the introduction. So our introduction here, we are going to introduce the traditional ceremony, the traditional ceremony that we are going to talk about in the main body. We are going to introduce the traditional ceremony that we are going to talk about in the main body. Okay, so when you're writing the composition, the length of the description should be between 200 and 250 words. So words exceeding 250, they are going to be cancelled, or they are not going to be considered to be part of your composition. Okay, so you need to follow the rules. So the first thing here, I'm going to help you on how to start the introduction. Then the main body also I'm going to show you. Then the rest you are going to finish. Okay, so our introduction here is going to be, since here we are talking about the Kuomboka traditional ceremony, so I'm going to say the Kuomboka tradition. Now, when starting your introduction, you need at least to skip at least 2 centimeters of your line. Okay, so I'm going to start here instead of starting here. So I'm going to start here. Okay, so our introduction is going to be the Kuomboka traditional ceremony is usually practiced by the Lord's people from Western Province when the Zambezi River gets flooded. Okay, so I'm saying the Kuomboka traditional ceremony is practiced by the Lord's people from Western Province when the Zambezi River gets flooded. So that one is our introduction. So our introduction here is saying the Kuomboka traditional ceremony is practiced by the Lord's people from the Western Province when the Zambezi River gets flooded. Full stop. So when you're starting your introduction, you need to start with the capital letter, which is capital T. So the Kuomboka traditional ceremony is practiced by the Lord's people from the Western Province when the Zambezi River gets flooded. Full stop. So that one here is our introduction. So our introduction is introducing the things that we are going to explain or outline in the main body. Okay, so our main body here, I'm going to say we want to start our main body here. So our main body, what should be found in the main body is the explanation. Okay, so this festival, so I've started our main body. This festival is celebrated by the Lord's people. So I'm mentioning now the name of the traditional ceremony here. This festival, which is the Kuomboka traditional ceremony, is practiced by the Lord's people from western part of Zambia. So this festival is practiced by the Lord's people from western part of Zambia. Okay, full stop. This traditional ceremony is done. This traditional ceremony is done when the Zambezi River gets flooded. This traditional ceremony is done when the Zambezi River gets flooded. So I'm saying this traditional ceremony is done when the Zambezi River gets flooded. Okay, so we can say, comma, this traditional ceremony, it is done when the Zambezi River gets flooded. Full stop. Okay, so it is done around April to, it is done around March to April during the rainy season. So I'm saying it is done around April to, around March to April during the rainy season. Okay, so it is done around March or April during the rainy season. Okay, then apart from that one, you are going to now to describe the tribe that practices in the traditional ceremony. Okay, so on the last part, you are going to continue. So unless you comment and write the video, and then I'm going to continue Okay, so ensure that you like and share the video. See you next time.